Hello and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. On behalf of OTC Markets, we are very pleased you have joined us for our AI and Technology Conference. Our next live presentation is from QuantGate Systems. Please note you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings by clicking Book a Meeting in the top toolbar. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Nicolas Perrault, Executive Chairman, and Ilan Youssef, Chief Technology Officer of QuantGate Systems, which trades on the OTCQB venture market under the symbol QGSI. Welcome, Nicolas and Ilan.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here. So let's get started. So QuantGate Systems is an AI-powered fintech company that's developed over the last, I guess, in its previous incarnations, the last 15 years, some disruptive trading technology tools. So we have basically some apps that are public-facing, which we'll go into a bit later, and we have some proprietary products that are kept in-house. But in a nutshell, the technology is a crossover between behavioral science and mathematics, and perhaps Ilan can jump in and shed a bit of color on this.
Sure, thank you, Nicolas. Thank you, Nicolas. Well, QuantGate has developed what's mathematically known as associative group behavior and modeled that into the financial market by monitoring the bid and ask flow of exchange-listed securities. Today, we monitor just about 60,000 securities worldwide on 24 financial exchanges. That includes major crypto assets that are being monitored. We've developed 4 different engines that monitor group behavior on the order book of the exchange, namely perception, commitment, equilibrium, and sentiment. These 4 indicators allow us to, or indicate to us or to the trader when an overbought or oversold opportunity presents itself, all based on mathematical psychology. Mathematical psychology is that field in mathematics that deals with associative group behavior. And that's what we have done throughout the last 24 years, predicting the behavior of market participants, understanding the market state in real time, and sentiment, as it's meant here, is sentiment as perceived by the market participants and not by social sentiment as usually is marketed out there, specifically in the fintech markets. Nicolas?
Thank you, Ilan. Yes, thank you. So essentially, we take various measurements to arrive at imminent trader intent. So I like to say that this is the modern version of the old tape reader for people that are old enough to remember. But we have essentially 4 different algos that are not correlated with one another, but take different readings of shifts in the electronic order books of anything that trades. So it's, how many lines of code do we have in here, Ilan?
About 2 million. About 2 million.
Code.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of the history. So this deck will be available for circulation, but this is a bit of the history of the company. Started as an R&D experiment, and this was really developed as a platform for a professional trader, and eventually built a business around it. So there's been, and these algos were developed over time, and they were essentially perfected, and the technology has remained really cutting edge and is now adapted to crypto worlds. We're crypto enabled, and we are connected to a variety of online brokers that you would be familiar with. So perhaps skipping over the history, you want to go into the various gauges that we have, Ilan, a little bit?
Sure. As it's related to the previous slide, I'm just going to mention it here. Our company has spent about 8 years scaling our technology and algorithms. We have connected to over 20 different well-known, world-known brokers, such as Interactive Brokers in the US and worldwide, Questrade in Canada, TradeStation in the US, and various other networks and brokers worldwide. We've built a few applications that seamlessly enable the user to connect to their brokerages simply with a username and password. Once that's done, the application maps what we call real-time sentiment onto the user interface, allowing them to trade, one, very efficiently, being well informed, and two, very precisely when it comes to timing. That was just on the previous slide. I just want to elaborate on that at this point, that these applications are built for the day trader. You don't have to be a day trader in order to trade on them, but it's definitely built for someone who's looking to peek into the market, grab an opportunity, and exit with profit faster than any other market participant can even notice. I'm slightly biased as being the CTO of the company, but it is definitely a true statement. These applications are for rapid in and out type of action, enabling what we call the thumb generation. The new generation that acts with their thumb on the phones. This is a sample application that we've developed. It's called Pilot. It's available on the app stores as well as through a web client. And these four algorithms that we've designed on the user interface, which we will demo shortly, indicate to the user that when all are at a specific color and at a certain percentage, it indicates that there's a trading opportunity. It's that simple. To enter and exit a trade with our application requires no more than a few days of learning. In fact, it could take 5 minutes, but I'm talking about the ones that don't know how to trade, are able to trade with our application. And these algorithms, simply by looking at the lights and the percentage of the opportunity score.
Thank you, Ilan. So what you see here is the handheld or the I guess the retail trading app that you can download on your phone. What you see here on this next screen would be Stealth, which is our pro or your pro version for professional traders, prop shops, etc. This is really designed as a fighter jet cockpit, so where you can see all of the everything on one screen. So it's quite a powerful system that's been really developed. You'll notice there's no charts. We can pull up charts if we want. Charts are backward-looking tools. What we measure here is really shifts in the order books as they occur. So we will be going through a share screen where you can see we'll demo Stealth for you. But maybe before we do that, because we're pressed for time, if you could give a bit of a glimpse, Ilan, on each of these gauges so that people are prepared for when we go into the demo.
Sure. So the gauges that we spoke about earlier, there are 4 different types of gauges: perception, commitment, equilibrium, and sentiment. Perception stands for literally what it stands for, what it means. Perception is the market participant behavior as it relates to their perceived value of the market. So we know that the price usually follows the perception of the market and vice versa. What we measure, the reason why we measure the perception of the market is to understand the sentiment of the market. Okay, the perceived value will eventually manifest itself as the sentiment of the market. That's the reason why there's so many momentum traders out there, because they're following social sentiment. In our system, sentiment does not mean social sentiment. Sentiment means the emotional state as a result of the trader perception. And so for us to understand sentiment, we have to actually monitor the perceived value of all market participants. And that's done by monitoring the bid and ask flow. I'll give you an example. When there are too many bids coming into the market, then the perceived value, that's just one element of that algorithm, then the perceived value is going to be rendered as oversold, since the market is perceived to have been going up. So there are many bids coming in. When there are many asks coming into the market, it's the other way around. The other algorithm we have is the commitment algorithm. Commitment is a measure of trader intent to move in the current direction of the market. And that's done by monitoring the rate of order cancellation flow across different groups in the market. One of the primary challenges that we've had in analyzing the bid and ask flow and understanding group behavior is understanding who's participating in the market. A market maker canceling an order in the market is a very frequent type of behavior, but not necessarily a manipulative type of behavior. But when there are other participants that have to be classified as other participants, cancel their orders, then that slightly means something else. It might be a trend following a beginning of a trend, or it might be a beginning of a mean reversion. That's a very complex question and answer. I think QuantGate has done a pretty good job in the last 15 years at least to understand the commitment of market participants by building the commitment algorithm. The equilibrium algorithm is the third algorithm in the series. This algorithm is designed, implemented to do one very simple thing, but yet very complex, is to understand what the fair market value is at any given time. The way we do that is by assuming that if all orders on the book, all pending orders on the book were to be executed immediately, how would that affect the current price? And we take that as a standard deviation measure from the current price to understand how far the market has gone above or below itself in terms of emotion. The final algorithm is the sentiment algorithm, where you would see that most other market participants or fintech platforms offer sentiment indicators as the first and only indicator. We offer that as the last indicator. Okay, that's something that I have to explain. The perception of the market is what leads the price influence. The sentiment of the market is what eventually results as the result of the perception. That is the final emotional state. So we have built an emotional, an emotional detection algorithm called the sentiment algorithm, which classifies the market participants into their own groups, into 55 different groups, all the way from high frequency algorithms to hedge funds and institutions and anybody in between, to understand the current direction of the market in terms of its emotional state. It'll be much easier once we demo the platform to visually understand this. And one more thing that I wanted to say is that these algorithms were designed for the trader to build the trust, to reduce emotional behavior, to increase trading frequency, to trust the system, and to not navigate away from one screen that enables you to do everything you wanted as a day trader, which Nicholas touched on that point before. Complex data is simply complex data. The more complex you make it on the screen, the more complex the end user will eventually feel, and that does not solve their problems. Presenting charts and candlestick charts and all these technical indicators, they're not on dynamic timeframes as our system is, and they're also not based on dimensions of market participant behavior the way that we measure them.
Thank you very much, Ilan. So, this is a mean reversion style system, but a very sophisticated one. We're going to have a bunch of questions after where we can address a little bit the how we got to this point. But this is really the result of what's been the design of an extremely sophisticated system for a professional trader and transformed it into a business. So we're going through this phase. I joined the board a few months ago with the objective of taking this to the commercialization phase after saying it's enough of R&D. This thing works. Our signal accuracy, is very, very high. This is a bit of a hidden gem in the markets. It's a very weird company, I have to say. So I think, Ilan, we only have 7 minutes before we go to Q&A. So
I'll jump into it.
Vision on the team. All of this is on the website. The board is in the process of getting reconstituted. We have some pretty good names that have joined us recently from the financial world, and probably expect more changes to come. But this material will be available. We're connected by API, as Ilan was mentioning, to a variety of online brokers, Interactive Brokers being one of them. So if people want to, kick the tires and try the products, it's certainly something we'd like people to do. Ilan, I think if you could share your screen, because seeing an image is 1,000 words. So I've traded extensively with this system. Right now. Very good. So I'm going to, okay, so go ahead. I think you can.
I'm just going to go through it very quickly for the next few minutes.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, this is a moving picture. It's a real-time market data. We're looking at a live system. The platform is Stealth. I wanted to touch on one point before we continue with the demo. The demo will take only 3 minutes. Is that most platforms, if not all platforms, okay, literally, if not all, over 97% of the platforms out there, they offer signaling. We offer a navigation system, a dynamic navigation system that enables the user to make informed decisions. We don't tell them when to buy and when to sell, or when to get in and get out of a trade. We simply tell them this is the current market situation, the way we understand it with our data. So you're looking at very enhanced data that allows you as a trader to make or complement your decisions, to make decisions and complement your decisions above what technical analysis can offer you without having to pull your hair out every day. So I'm just going to jump into this demo. This platform, one more time, is called Stealth. You're looking at a trading terminal that is connected to a trading broker. We have connected to over 25 different brokers.
I just want to make sure everybody can see the screen. John, if you can, John or Greg, can you confirm?
Yeah, I believe I'm sharing the screen, yeah.
Okay, so hide your camera, perhaps. Okay, all right, well, I guess I just want to make sure that everybody sees the screen. So.
Yeah, I am sharing the screen live.
Okay, all right.
To the top left of the screen, you have the opportunity scores on your watch list. This is QuantGate's proprietary watch list. The score indicates a good time to enter and a good time to exit. Okay, so 80% indicates a good time to enter, and 0% indicates a good time to exit. Blue indicates a buying opportunity, and red indicates a selling opportunity. Or more formally, as is said in the financial markets, blue indicates an oversold opportunity, and red indicates an overbought opportunity. The four algorithms are coupled with each one of these securities. So we have Uber here, for example. It's at 16%. Currently, the algorithms are indicating, only one of the algorithms is indicating that it's overbought with the color red. It still has quite a bit to go up to 80% in order to be perceived as fully overbought for us to actually take a trade. As you can see, the score is moving in real time, and you have a set of gauges on the right side here that indicate the situation of the market. To understand these gauges doesn't require any scientist or any developer or, in fact, any professional trader. All you have to do is look at this score here and these lights. When all four of these lights are red, and this is at 80% and red as well, that would be a time to sell. Currently in the market, in my own watch list, I don't see an opportunity, as nothing is close to 80%. The highest one is 61%. We have built a global scanner that allows a trader to actually introduce additional securities to their watch list. It is called the top list. You may not see that window open at this point because I'm only sharing the main screen, but I'm going ahead and I'm going to press on some of those opportunities that I have on my top list in order to populate my watch list with additional securities. What I'm doing here basically is what most traders want to have. They want to have a global scanner, a system that allows them to pick the top opportunities on 24 financial exchanges worldwide and to present them to you on a watch list that monitors market participant behavior tick by tick. My watch list is currently auto-sorted. I have a setting in this application to actually remove that feature or that behavior. Currently, it is auto-sorted to move the topmost opportunity to the top left of the watch list every 10 seconds or so. So my next action as a trader on this platform would be to wait for something to be around 80% here, to click on that and to wait for those lights to match that color. When that happens, I'm going to buy. Since I don't have any specific opportunity right now, we're going to pick something that is very close to 80%. There you go. Let's go for this one. And I'm going to sell 500 shares. There you go. I just sold 500 shares. Notice that on the right side, I have, as soon as I've entered that position, a green line appeared right around the E mark, which stands for equilibrium. This indicates that this will be my profit target. This is the current price, and this will be my profit target. Now, since we are promoting a platform that is visually explicit and is designed to amplify the intent of the user to act with the right choices, being informed of what they're doing, We didn't want to make it very complex for the user to enter and exit trades, so we've embedded a few shortcuts. Since I'm in the position already, and this seems to be my exit according to my equilibrium algorithm, for me to press on this button takes just a second, on this number rather. Once I do that, my order display will show that number, and I'll go ahead and set a buy order at that level. Notice that as soon as I bought, I also have a stop loss level, which enables me to click and set a stop loss order as well to protect my position. Now that I've protected this position, I can move on to the next opportunity. This one is at 78% right here. This is an FX pair. And I'm going to also buy here. Similar to before, I'm going to buy on the ask in order to execute immediately. Similar to before, this is my exit, pressing on that, and then pressing sell would set a position on the other side for me. Okay. Now this watch list continuously moves. Entering and exiting trades is extremely easy on the platform. If I wanted to take this profit, even though it's very premature at this point, I will double click on this and it'll cancel my exit as well as take an immediate exit on that order. It will liquidate that position, taking the profit. And I can move on and on to the next opportunity and so forth. What I've shown you just now is the ability for me as a trader to log into my broker, to see securities that are available through my brokerage and the exchanges and the products on those exchanges that are available through the brokerage, to get a real-time signal, which has been monitored for market participant behavior for the past 100 days. We have a moving, sliding window of 100 days that allows us to come up with a real-time indication of whether there is normal market behavior in that market right now, or does it deviate beyond what the order book can suggest. Very importantly.
Yep, I'll let you. There's some questions coming in, but continue to finish your sentence and I'll start answering.
So that was just basically to capture opportunities in the market. We do have other gauges in the system that allow you to see all the way throughout the day and understand what is taking place. This spectrum over here indicates the 55 participants. Understanding the color and shape of that spectrum will make you, within a few weeks, a super trader. And when I say a super trader, I mean someone who is executing trades without an algorithm or having to code an algorithm or talk to a developer, but with such precision that it's almost impossible to see that trade coming into the market by other market participants. That is the key, and we have that indication for throughout the day to show what is happening in the market and whether it is a good time to short or go along in that market.
Thank you, Ilan. So I think I see questions coming in, but just before I start answering, so one of the advantages of the system is that when you start your trading day, it provides like a heat map of anything that is active and appropriate to trade at any moment in time. So you're never lacking trading opportunities. You can't be stuck fixated on following just whatever securities you want to follow. Anything that trades electronically with liquidity anywhere that we can connect to will generate signals. So whether it's futures, financial futures, commodities, FX, other countries, securities, all the big liquid securities, this will work well with anything that trades with liquidity. So one of the questions, what are the benefits of this platform versus other trading platforms? So this is more than a trading platform. It's yes, it's got order execution capabilities. It can act like a skin over your account, like it's like a order entry overlay, but in the order entry overlay are embedded these signals that you can act on. So most trading platforms will use technical analysis. The very few will offer you, I haven't seen any that offer you a glance into the shifts in electronic order books. So one of the gauges, for example, will measure in real time cancellations of bids over cancellations of offers as they occur. So this is really going into the guts of the market, and I don't know any other platform. As you know, charts are backwards looking. They don't really provide you a clue of what's about to happen. we measure the average realized weighted fill over a compression period, and it's like the center of gravity of a trade. So signal accuracy is about 80%. Obviously, you got to respect the signals. One of the mistakes people will make initially with the system is it'll give you a sense of power, and you're going to start to think you're smarter than the system. Big mistake. You should learn to trust the system, and when it tells you to get out, just get out. Don't overthink. Another question I see here is the revenue model. Well, Pilot is really designed for your phone. It's I think $20 a month US, whereas the Stealth platform is how much is it, Ilan? About $399 or $400?
$395, yeah.
Right. So that's more for your pro user. The company has not put any money in marketing. That's about to change. So very few people know about this company. We have a third product which we're keeping in-house called Hydra, around which we're developing some robotic functions which will not be available to the public, but with which we want to work with some hedge funds. So that's, I think, a bit of the summary, answering some of the questions I've seen so far. You can continue while other questions come in that haven't been addressed. Maybe you can go back to the share screen and show a little bit more of the functionalities that you didn't have a chance to expose yet, Ilan?
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen right now. What I wanted to mention, I didn't have the chance before, is that this spectrum here indicates the 55 participants of the market. Each one of them is in a different trading group. So the central part of the spectrum is the high frequency algorithms. Closer to the middle, you would find the day traders, and then the swing traders and portfolio managers, and all the way to the banks and the hedge funds. The color indicates whether there are selling activities within that group or buying activities, meaning what is the perception, intent, and overall sentiment of that trading group. So red indicates selling activities and blue indicates buying activities. When there is a little dot, maybe it's hard to see on that screen on the other side, but there is a little dot here at the bottom. When this triangularly shaped spectrum is equilaterally shaped, as it is almost now, that dot will appear there to indicate that based on the supply and demand of the market, of the time frame that the indicator is showing, that there are no more selling activities that are going to come in. It's almost saying that it's impossible for new selling activities to come in. Taking that into consideration, we have a 5-minute indicator, a 15-minute indicator, a 30-minute indicator, and a 60-minute indicator. And we can span that out all the way to 1 day. Now, you can see here that the 5-minute indicator shows that there's plenty of room for the market to move downwards, which it hasn't yet. Okay, so that's a very powerful indication showing the collective behavior of the market participants, saying that if you want to buy this security now, you should think twice. Even though the 5-minute indication tells me that it's almost at 80%, this 5-minute indication will be overridden and taken over by the larger market participants throughout the day that show and exhibit selling activities, or at least anything below buying activities. So across the entire 3-4 hour time frame here, there are more selling activities than buying activities, and therefore the market is trending down. So that's a very powerful indication of collective behavior and pricing. Now, we have modeled the natural sciences into this platform. It's something we didn't mention explicitly before. So we modeled flocking and herding behavior, just like schools of fish move in water and birds fly in air. That surprisingly is a very common behavior in nature. It has lasted for billions of years and doesn't change. And that model seems to have
we have
worked very well.
minute to go. Sorry to interrupt, minute to go. So please visit us on the website, contact us. Very happy to set a few people up that are interested with some free demos. This is something that needs to be discovered, guys.
Thank you, everyone.